Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EMS 1 Battlefield 4 Championship, the first one of 4 this year, 120,000 euros to give away. We're going to get back to the matches very shortly, but first, Daniel from DICE is with me. Thrilled to have you here in the studio. It's great to have you here. I know you're a little bit tired because you're flying in from Stockholm and then flying back again. We're going to talk domination, and particularly from DICE's point of view, how do you start? Someone in the office, do they come up with this, guys, I've got this great idea for a game mode? Or is it you sit in a room, you figure out what you want to do, and then how does that evolve? How does it end up in the game?
Usually it's a lot of crazy developers and some crazy ideas being thrown around in a meeting room. So we first came up with the domination idea for X-Pack, Expansion Pack 2, which was close quarters for Battlefield 3. We threw ideas around, and one of our lead designers, Gustav Halling at that point, said that we should have a game mode that's frantic, that's just crazy. It should feel something, people play infantry in Battlefield. We should take it to the next level. We should have 3 flags, we should have a faster spawn time, we should have faster cap rate and that kind of stuff. So we started building on that, and we started playing on playtests. We had 30 people on a map like Ziba Tower. That's insane. 40 people on the map like Ziba Tower. It's crazy. It doesn't work that way. So we started splitting it down. So okay, let's just do a 20-player playtest. So we had a 20-player playtest, and it worked fine. It was a lot of fun, and it was one of the most played game modes in Battlefield 3. And competitively, we felt that okay, this can work for Battlefield 4. So when we started making Battlefield 4, we looked at domination. We played around with maps like Zafod, for instance. I was watching the game right now with Zafod, and I was thinking, oh, we tried having the flag on the roof. We tried having the flag there. It didn't work. So it's just a big testing and trying out process and seeing what you can do, So.
Okay. Watching the pros play is always, I think, enlightening. I've worked with developers over a number of years because they do stuff that blows your mind as a dev, don't they? They actually do stuff and you go, wait, hang on, we didn't figure that they would do that. Have they caught you out with anything on any of the maps?
Oh, man, a lot of things. All the time and a lot of things.
Do they actually make you go back to the drawing board and go, damn it, we're going to have to redesign something?
I'm not sure if it's that serious, but it's always like, wait, you can really do that. I mean, people are blowing down walls competitively now. They didn't do that in Battlefield 3. They didn't do that previously in Battlefield 4. So they're starting to blow down walls, creating new pathways and blowing down obstacles. We never really thought people would do that competitively, but now it's like, okay, wow. So maybe we need to restructure some things. So it's pretty interesting to see, and you always learn from the competitive players, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my next question. In fact, is what have you learned from the competitive players and watching some of the matches in the EMS 1? I
mean, for Battlefield competitively, it's a very different game that they're playing competitively. You go on public servers, you have 64 players. This is 5-on-5.
I know. I love it as well, by the way, but 5v5 is something I can't play.
It's one thing that's completely different. So first of all, you have that, and then you see most of these guys are playing assault, so they're mostly focused on those weapons. They're focused on the weapon that gives them the best accuracy or hip fire, whatever it is. So you're looking at that, and it's just very, very different. The way they play, the way they move, the way they fire, the feedback you get from competitive players sometimes is the same as for casual players or players who play 64 players. But usually it's like, server tick rate and that kind of stuff. That's the biggest thing that comes up, which you don't really hear in when you test it at Gamescom or E3.
Okay. And in terms of what they fed back, you said a very key point was that sometimes the feedback is the same as the casuals. Does that give you like a better understanding of what changes you do want to make to the game when you put a patch out? Yeah,
I think it gives you a good angle because, looking at Battlefield 4, we have so many players, or even Battlefield 3, that we need to focus on what makes everyone happy in that case. And in terms of stability, in terms of how the game performs under pressure, how the maps feel, how the vehicles feel. So all of that needs to be ingrained. And if we would have a situation where we need to nerf a whole lot of vehicles or unbalance or power up more vehicles, that leaves more time to do that and less time to focus on other things because, we don't have a 1,000-man team working on a patch. Unfortunately.
No,
that's reality, folks. So, we have a great team working on, just listening to what people say, the great community team, and then we have a great team on our operations team just trying things out. I really like working there, too, so it's good.
Oh, good. In terms of changes to be made, we've obviously talked about that, but internally, it's always been a struggle for every developer, I think, to balance games and balance them for, as you said already, everyone, effectively. Balance them for me, who runs around with an ace all the time and hates tanks and despises them and blows them up with mines, and balance them for the competitive player, but also balance them for the fighter pilots out there and the guys that are incredibly skilled in the helicopters. Where do you start?
First of all, so we have a telemetry system that tells us what kind of weapon people use, when they get killed with that weapon, what do they do with that weapon when they get killed. It's a very good telemetry system. That together with feedback on the forums or on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, it gives us a good indication of what we need to work on at that certain point. Even going into heat maps and that kind of stuff, just to see, okay, so this is what we need to do. This is what we need to focus on. So I think those two big things, and then obviously playing the game ourselves. I mean, we need to play our own game. If you make Coke, you have to drink Coke to see what you're making, right? So playing our own game a lot of people in the studio do that. Both playtesting new up-and-coming things and playtesting older things. So just, experience is what makes a good developer.
Okay. Domination, where is it going from here? What have you learned that you can now put into practice, and what changes might we see that you can maybe tease us with going forward?
I'm not a big teaser.
I know, I tried.
I don't have a lot of big teasers, but I think looking at from launch till now, we've seen how people play Domination. We've seen how they move when they play Domination. We've seen what they like in Domination, what kind of maps actually, what the crowd likes to see as well. I mean, if you sit here, do they fall asleep or do they laugh or do they like it, It's very important for us to see that as well. So just iterating on the things we do very, very well. Asking ourselves the question, why does this thing not work very well? And just keep working on it. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Forgive me if this is a slight, and it's not meant this way, but I'm going to be controversial slightly here, Daniel. From a point of view of a very long-standing player in FPS, Battlefield has always been looked at as the fun community, and we've got some fantastic people in Battlefield. They produce some amazing things. Videos are very funny, but it's never truly been taken seriously as an esport until this year when we've got 120,000 euros on the line and big competition. What's been the biggest challenge for you guys to kind of transition from it being a fun, interesting, great community to actually now having that kind of top 5% professional element to it?
Yeah, I think having the right people on the right spots, and development-wise, who know what they're doing in terms of esports, who are very interested, they are passionate about esports, and they work on the game as well. So I think that was the biggest step for us. And then coming into launching the game, obviously we had some stability issues, and the first few months were pretty rough. Got back to fixing it. So I just think the competitive aspect of Battlefield got, we hit a few bumps, but now we're back, and now we're gonna focus on, giving people some more cool things. So I think that's where we need to go, and I think that's the outlook we need to have. We need to look at what we are doing really, really good and keep doing that all the time, even for the project.
Well, and what do you make of the fun things that people find? I mean, I've watched a ton of videos online which do make me hell with laughter, because I think, how did they even figure out that was how a tank would fly in the air with 15 mines under it, and how did it take out a jet? Do you look at these and go, oh, I wish they'd stop doing that kind of stuff?
No,
or do you look at it and go, these are so
cool? Those always get sent around in the studio.
They do?
Always, yeah, because it's fun. Because you can't really... I mean, physics is one thing, but then in a video game, physics is something completely different, apparently. And so we see in the videos.
I'm learning that tanks can fly.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it snaps like a whip from the satellite on that map called, what's it called? I completely forgot. Brain freeze.
Yeah, I have as well. I've had a brain freeze.
I only know the internal name.
Yeah. But you mean with the dish?
Yeah.
We'll call it dish.
Yeah. Road transmission.
Yes. Indeed, road transmission. Thank you very much.
Brain
Daniel, great to have you here. We're going to have a little bit more with you a little bit later on. You can send him some questions to our Twitter, which is Battlefield ESL, at Battlefield ESL. Any questions you've got for Daniel or for Julian, who we're going to have a little bit later on, who's going to tease some DLC stuff. So stay tuned for that, because I want to know all about it. And we will collect the best questions at the end of the day and pose them to these guys and put you on the spot. Are you good with that?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Always.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go back to our commentary team now for our third game. It is the winners' match to decide the first team through to the semi-finals.
Thank you very much, Paul. And we are back in the casting booth. And I have to say, what a game we're going to have up next. I'm so excited. uMAV versus Pyro. It's the winners from the last two. You were out there, you were watching both these two games. What were your take on them?
With the PyRoGEN game, I was literally on edge the whole time.
I can imagine.
It obviously PyRoGEN powered through. They have been looking very, very interesting for a lot of teams right now. They've been just doing very, very well, and they're upsetting what is the balance of power in the Battlefield community. And they're a team to look out for. They're a very well-rounded team, but they're coming up against a team here in uMAV who are just so damn dangerous. They've done so well in all the groups. Always come second. They've yet to win anything, but they always second place. And if they're going to come first place, I think if they're going to do it at any point, it will be here, because this is the big one. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Their bans are coming out here pretty straightforward, but the maps they've let through here, I'm quite interested in. Like Locker, not surprised. uMAV play it a lot. Parasol Storm, that's the kind of map you don't really want to play uMAV on either. But the ones that got through are interesting. Shanghai is a map that uMAV have been doing very, very well on.
Okay.
A map that's not been played too much in competitive community. The spawns got changed recently.
Yes.
It used to spawn around top B. That's been moved out. Obviously, no roofs on that map as well. And that's the one that's been... yeah. And I think uMAV will do very, very well on that map. And I think Dam got through as well, and I failed to catch the last one, so...
I think the last one was Zafod.
Zafod, yeah. All of those maps kind of... You play straight up and you'll have a good day. And I think Pyro, if they're gonna have to go up against uMAV, they really, really need to have a strong showing on Shanghai. They need to stop the momentum, because that map is going to be uMAV heavy. Because
you actually brought up an interesting statistic when we were just talking before the game about the last time these two teams have actually played each other. I think you said it was in uMAV's favor. Was it 3-1 in terms of the last time these guys have played?
They played in a mix of Go4s and EMSs. I think it's right now it's a 2-for-1 advantage for uMAV. And some of those games were brutal, but in the maps that they banned out, Parasol Storm was one of them banned, and that was a map that uMAV did very, very well against PyRoGEN. And you can just see it in their picks and bans. They do not want uMAV on maps which are heavy on the fragging. And you've got a player like Drunks here, who is just so dangerous. At DreamHack, he did amazingly well. He basically pushed that team to new heights. And he's just so dangerous. Uses unorthodox weapons, catches a lot of teams kind of by surprise of it. On Zafod, for example, he's been running the AUG with Silencer, getting behind people and just really like causing a bit of issues. Being
a nuisance.
Yeah, that's his role, if anything. Get the kills and be a nuisance, really.
I love that kind of role. I'm not gonna lie, that's what I like to do. Just be a nuisance, be a bit of a pain. But obviously, you're very close to the Dignitas boys, as I think everyone knows. You had to sit there and you were watching that last game. I imagine there was a lot of nail biting going on, a little bit of screaming as well, maybe. While you were watching the TVs?
There was a few times where I was shouting. And I scared the young girl behind the counter near the drinks, because I just all of a sudden just started shouting. And just like,
what's going on here?
We need to get this guy carried out. I don't know. I get really nervous watching my own guys. I can't stay in the same room. I'm walking around. Any kind of human interaction to keep my mind off the game, and then come back when it gets really, really close.
The big question I want to ask you is how are they feeling as a team? Because I mean, I walked over to you after the game, and you were with the guys from Dig, and to be honest, they seemed relatively composed, which is a good sign, I think. Obviously, they have to play a little bit later on in the evening. I mean, how are they feeling? Are they feeling pretty good?
Yeah, they're fine. I mean,
that's good.
Everyone's mentor in Dignitas, Odie, he's just like, well, got to learn to lose for you and win. I think it's a pretty regular thing.
Good attitude that is.
Yeah, well,
I like it.
Well, especially when they've already lost, so they kind of get used to it. And I think they'll have a difficult game with Planet Key coming up. But this uMAV game, I don't know what our first map is. Let's see when it comes in. We're starting it up now. Zafod. Right. So for PyRoGEN, they lost this against Dignitas very recently. Very close game. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel that against uMAV, they might struggle here. I mean, just look at that in the voting there. 67 to 33 in favour of uMAV. And I think that's pretty fair. Yeah. uMAV are just so dangerous right now. With Drunks and Enox, obviously, the two replacements for Sneaky and Delarco. they now have a very, very well-rounded team and just dangerous up front. They have that killing power. And on this map especially, Drunks seems to come out and do a very, very good job.
He's always seems to be the player that finds himself in the action. I don't know what it is, but every time I've seen him play, he just is that player that you just want to keep your eye on. You can see him there. The scarf, the legendary scarf. I really want a scarf. I'm not gonna lie.
He's channeling his inner Ocelot to try.
His inner Ocelot.
But you've got like Marsu as well, and Asterix and Enox, and they do play some seriously important role. Asterix is usually in a position where they need to hold a flag. He'll stay there, and that's very key. And he does it very, very well, especially on maps like Lankan Dam. He holds this balcony constantly on the A flag, and it's really, really nice. But Marsu, I mean, obviously with Drunks and it's coming in, it's kind of like stolen his thunder, but Marsu
just a little bit
seriously gets kills as well. He is a key player in that team and definitely one to look out for. But when I talk about uMAV, I just see a very, very aggressive team. I mean, up until the point that they brought in their new players, they would blitzkrieg teams. They would just overrun. They played against Drunks' old team in AAA, and they would just be all over them. They destroyed them on lockers, something like in a 200 ticket game, they came away with like 140, 145.
Wow.
And they just smashed a team like AAA, which is a very frag heavy team. And literally from then on out, I don't know, I have not seen AAA really ever recover, and they haven't, as they got picked apart by uMAV and literally stole 2 of their players. So it's but with that being said, Pyro must be feeling quite good coming off a 2-1 victory. And it's a close one as well.
Very close, very close. But, I mean, in terms of your players to really watch from both these two teams in this series, who would you say are those players that not necessarily just going to go ham, but those players which are just going to, stay composed, do the right things, make all the right decisions? Who would be those 2 players that you would have to pick one from each?
One for each. Well, instead of joining the Drunks fan train I keep going on, I'm going to go with Marsu on this one. Marsu or Asterix, and then PyRoGEN's a weird one. I would say Melicium, but then again, Flasher sometimes comes in big. I mean, the thing with PyRoGEN is they just seem to work quite well as a unit.
Right.
It's one of those teams that's very difficult to pick out an individual player.
Because they all play well as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, you have some teams that just have 1 or 2 players that do like load of damage.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team kind of maybe have negatives. Yeah, but then you've got the other teams that just seem to all kind of score very similarly. And,
Interesting.
Yeah, some teams are like that. So Epsilon, for example, they have a very Duke PT up front. Jesus, he takes people to town. I mean, some of his games, he's coming away with like 35% of the team kills.
That's
like
a lot.
by himself. Is that going to translate to LAN? That will be a big question coming up later on. But really, really just an all-round dangerous matchup, I think. And but yeah, PyRoGEN played solid against Dig, but they had moments where it just fell apart. And I think that's what's going to be worrying, especially with a team that's going to put the pressure on them like uMAV.
Can't do that.
Will they be able to hold up to it? I mean, that will be a serious question. And I don't know about predictions, but if I had to like throw it out there,
I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I thought
That's where the conversation was going.
I beat you to it, and it will be. I think uMAV are going to take a 2-0 win here.
2-0.
2-0.
We haven't seen 2-0 yet. Every game so far today has gone all the way to a game number 3. And I mean, that last series was just stupidly close. I think the biggest ticket lead from the first side was only 34. That was in the first game. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to see a game 3 just because it's going to be intense, competitive. But if I'm honest, I'm thinking uMAV as well should take it 2-0. I mean, for me, uMAV, the way that they played in the first series, they just looked so good. Admittedly, in the second map, they kind of fell off a little bit. But still, a fantastic lineup who, with the addition of the guy that you can see on your screen, Drunks, who's, to quote you, channeling his inner Ocelot with the scarf. Best quote so far, gotta say. I think with his addition, he is so strong. I mean, really, the things that you see him do is just things that you don't really expect. But fantastic player, and as well as that, you have to give Enox props as well. He came in at the same time, and those two, I mean, in the first series, they were like top of the leaderboard nearly every single game, so they're playing very well.
Yeah, I mean, you can read quite a lot into the kills, and their players that we'll focus on quite a bit because of that, but all-round players. I mean, with Battlefield, you've got the spotting, which is incredibly important. If you're not, like, seriously, as an ex-Battlefield player, like, I am hitting Q in every FPS game I ever play. I see someone and I just hammer the Q. Like, I've broken keyboards because Q is, like, been pushed in so far. And that plays a big part for a lot of team success. So whenever you have one player who might be getting all these kills, he might know that someone's around these corners because his rest of the team are spotting and doing their job as a team. And some teams do it a lot better than others. Fnatic, who we'll be seeing playing later on, just remarkable across the board. They know what to do. They've been there, done that.
Yeah.
They've got the postcard, and a few of these other teams coming out, like uMAV is totally. They've been here a while in Battlefield, all these players, but they've kind of a hodgepodge now, and they're working together. And one thing that Drunk said in his interview was in Locker, why did they fall down? How did they lose? It was just like, well, we've got the wrong calls. We're getting a bit of a mix up here, like so maybe they're not quite gelled together just quite as well, and especially not as a team of 5 Frenchies who are going to be able to communicate absolutely with passion and conviction.
Communication is key, really, when you think about it. It's such an important part of the game that you need to be communicating properly. And I think now a lot of teams may have seen that interview with Drunks and kind of been sat there now thinking, hey, they do have that weak part of their game, and if we can try and exploit that, we could stand a chance of potentially beating them, and that's something that Pyro especially are going to try and look at doing. But I mean, that's got to be something that's very difficult. I mean, how would you go about that if you were obviously playing now? What would you be thinking if you were one of the Pyro players?
The key to beat uMAV is definitely something that have watched a few games. MYM played them very recently in a cup, and they really fought tooth and nail, and the game went down to the wire. Literally 2 tickets, and 3 tickets, maybe 2, 3.
Same
close. And they threw them off and got a very early lead. But the thing is, uMAV kept coming back. But from then on out, like, you just put a bit of pressure on uMAV early, and I think that's what we've seen in Locker. Mm-hmm. They sometimes struggle to respond. And that is something from PyRoGEN's point of view, they need to put the pressure onto uMAV early, make them start second guessing their playstyle, and that's something uMAV have a trouble with. They're like, oh, we play very differently now. We used to just run and gun. Now we do something very, very differently. They are questioning sometimes their approach to the games, and I think that is something PyRoGEN could definitely prey upon, but they need to at least hammer it in early to at least make them question it.
Definitely needs to have a strong start, as I believe just a bit of an issue right now, but everything should be resolved very quickly. Only 4 Pyro players are in the game. I am reading that correctly.
Yeah,
right?
you're reading
okay,
it right.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I've not gone crazy. I'm not seeing things, but you can see what the players on your screen, just having a little bit of a warm-up. This is a very, very important game as well. Winner of this advancing into that winner's spot, and then they will play the winner of the loser side, on the bottom side of the bracket. And I'm sure you're hoping that Dignitas are going to fight their way through. I'm not going to lie. If I was going to go out on a limb, I would say Dignitas is going to be in the final.
Yeah, but they're up against Planet Key Dynamics, which is a team which has, for a long, long time, been very, very, very dangerous. And they took uMAV on Locker, the full 9 yards, and that was a very, very good display by them. And I think when they're playing against a team like Dignitas, they're very, very capable of beating them. So that'll be a very close game. That's the one I will be very nervous about as well. Probably not as nervous as the Dig guys, as obviously it will be their last ditch attempt really to stay in the game. So in this entire tournament. So
definitely, they're going to.
The pressure will be very high for that game.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you have to win. You can't afford to lose. Whereas, I guess you could say pressure not as high in this game because you still do have that second life, if you will. You can drop down into that lower bracket, but I think the game is about to get underway. You can see all the players now fully in the lobby, and you can see right now it's the uMAV team on your screen. You see Drunks with the scarf and Zafod 311. You've got to love this video. I love these videos that have been made. They're so cool right now. Really a big fan. Just showing you all the main spots of the map, but I'm curious to see the breakout. And I'm just going to peck your brains really from an ex-player's point of view. I mean, what are you expecting to see from both these teams off the break?
I just quickly jumped in for Iconho here. He's going to be running the CZ, but he's going engineer. So for him, early on, he is definitely looking to take down the wall outside of the C flag. Trying to look at, oh god, Drunks is running the FAMAS with the suppressor, but he goes down like quite early. But yeah, they're running all assaults from uMAV's point of view. That's classic uMAV, really, very aggressive. But straight off the bat, PyRoGEN doing well. B, A, got the bleed, but the spawns are starting to come in, and Drunks there with his suppressor is probably going to cause a bit of an issue here. But yeah, good start for PyRoGEN. Really good start.
I love how you called the suppressor as well. You said it before anything else. Watch out for Drunks being that nuisance player, using that suppressor to the best of his advantage, and just expect him to really just try and get behind enemy lines, try and pick up a couple of kills that way, and be a nuisance. I mean, why not? I think if you have a player that can do that and also, get a lot of kills as well, really is going to help your team out. And right now you can see that A flag at the top of the screen currently under contention. Meanwhile, Drunks, he's made his way all the way over towards his B flag.
Yeah, just that's going to be a key one right now, but they're going to struggle. This B flag is basically where it's coming down to right now. You've got an entire 4-man Pyro lineup. They got that flag. More importantly right now, uMAV have been shut out of these flags. At no point have they managed to actually break through at any of them. And this is where it becomes an issue, because there's a full cap coming in and there's no one but can contest it. They are getting stuck in these tunnels, and this is seriously a big issue. If I said the only way that PyRoGEN were going to actually come out strong, they have to put the pressure on them early, and there's nothing better than a triple a full cap like this. It's really going to put uMAV up against the wall here.
Yep, you called it. And look at that kill column. 15 kills for Pyro and just 6 so far for uMAV. Finally, uMAV able to capture a flag. It's going to be A. However, it's still Pyro with control in the game with B and C. But you could argue, early game, the damage has been done. That's a 40-ticket lead pretty much, and that's huge considering what we've not even seen 2 minutes of gameplay so far.
Yeah, and more importantly, like there's a few attacks they can pull off here, but they're starting to slowly but surely get picked off. Like, they're putting a lot of effort into the C push, but they're going to lose A. There's no one to stop Iconho, and he's just going to take that. The serious fight over at C is important, but the one coming up at B is going to be even more important, because if any of these go the way of Pyro, it's going to be another full domination cap, and this is looking very, very good for Pyro right now.
Well, I'm on board with Flasher, who is that Pyro player at the B flag. Someone is going to be around here, going to throw the grenade across. Is it going to connect? Not just yet. You just see him death bait out some shots. And you see his teammates as well being taken out. There's the challenge. Picks up the kill on Bad and made it very simple. Can he find the second in the form of Drunks? Nothing home just yet. Drunks still, in fact, no, Drunks taken out by one of his teammates. So you said that gunfight was going to be important, and it's gone in favor of Pyro. Pyro looking very, very good off the break.
Yeah, the C fight went over to uMAV, but yeah, as soon as they spawned in at B, and then Pyro obviously lost the C fight, so they made sure they won the B. But this is uMAV's chance now to come back into the game. They're probably going to take this A flag, and they're holding C. But from PyRoGEN's point of view, they have the chance here to attack both flags. They just need to work out which one they want to go for. They picked off at C, so I probably expect uMAV to overcompensate the C flag. So it's all down once again to the small fights going on at A, and yeah, that's going to go uMAV's way. This is pretty solid from uMAV. They got to keep this bleed going though.
Yeah, they need to hold on to that C flag, which is currently being taken away from them as well. Masu did a great job over at A. C has been held, but look at the flood of players they're going to be put in there. I want to have a look at Enox right now, see if he can try and do some defensive work. Not going to happen. And only one player left up for uMAV. That's actually going to be Masu, who is way at the other side of the map. He's going to have to try and rotate towards that B flag. But as quickly as uMAV managed to get some control, it was taken away from them by Pyro.
Yeah, and with that initial lead that they have, they can play a very, very smart game now. They don't have to do anything crazy. They just got to keep this game nice and close, and that lead might be something to secure them for the next map. But yeah, uMAV, it's strange to see that they're not playing the kind of way they usually do. And that kill there on Asterix by Matza is a big one, because that is going to be a bleed, and there's no one from uMAV. This is going to force a response on that C flag, and C is notoriously difficult to take if defended properly.
Yeah, we've seen, especially in that last game, the way Dignitas held the C flag, it just looked damn near impossible at times to try and take it. Meanwhile, Masu, he's making his way in there, and he has got a gunfight on his screen. Is he going to pick up the kill? Yes, he is. That was on Monstro. So nicely done, and only 2 players now up for Pyro. You've got Malcium and Flasher. Flasher 9 and 2, so he's definitely doing something right. And you can see by the score, 105 to 59. However, it is uMAV who have both B and C. Now the question is, how are Pyro going to reply to that? And it looks like actually they're about to get trip capped.
Yeah, but the way that uMAV have responded to this is really, really reckless. No defense on C at all. They just ran out and went for kills, and it might work out in their favor as they're going to get A and B, but they are going to lose that C flag. But you can just see how uMAV are responding to pressure, and that's to be ultra aggressive and just getting in their faces right now. And it's going to be very awkward if you can't see the uMAV guys. If they start to put their pressure onto Pyro and they haven't got the experience of dealing it, they're just going to fall apart.
Okay, well, we'll keep our eyes out for that. Hopefully no one falls apart, but hey, who knows? You're right, pressure really can add. And I'm looking at the top fraggers from both teams. You've got Marsu 11-3, and you've got Flash at 10-4. Those two back and forth in terms of who's trying to get the most kills in this lobby. But in terms of the actual ticket score, 80-56, still in favor of Pyro, but uMAV trying to get the trip cap once again and bring themselves back in. Who is that over at A? It's going to be Marcy, who's been consistently just pushing that A flag time and time again, and he's actually going to lock that in. And this is big for uMAV now.
Yeah, this is what I was saying about uMAV. They play from behind quite well. They seem to always have these bad starts, but they seem to just respond to it perfectly. And right now, they have got a full domination cap. They're probably going to lose this B flag, but that one-on-one at A is a very, very important one because they can keep this bleed going. That's a 2-on-1. There's the spawns coming in. That A flag is really, really key now. And there's one guy left, and that's Asterix, but there's a spawn from Baden as well. And you can see the rotation from uMAV. They know how important that A flag is, and they're coming in for it hard.
Yeah, you've still got Asterix inside the flag. He's halfway towards capturing it. It looks like he's actually going to get away with it. He has done. So nicely done by him. However, it's still a very close game, 54-50. Still in favor of Pyro, but uMAV, they do have a little bit of control. That C flag contested once again, though. And you can see Asterix just running straight over towards there. He needs to try and help his team out, trying to get some revives. They've held it, and they're also pushing for that trip cap on B. Now, personally, I'm not sure I really agree with that. If they held A and C, they would win this first side. However, they're trying to put that additional pressure on, and so many times we've seen trip caps backfire on teams. They'll put the pressure on B, and then next thing, the opposition have A and C, and then they'll lose the game. But this time, it seems like it has just worked out in their favor.
Yeah, uMAV is just going really, really aggressive. They're comfortable in coming forward like this and just getting the kills. And right now, Pyro are struggling to keep up with the pace that uMAV are imposing on them. This BC hold that uMAV have right now, if they just sat back and held this, I think there's nothing really Pyro could do. But you can see how uMAV are responding to this. They're just going full aggressive. they're just trying to get into Pyro's face. They know they've lost C. They're going to attack it, but they're going to also try and attack A. They're just going to try and keep Pyro on their feet the whole time. And for a team that was way, way behind, they are now taking the lead, almost 2-for-1 in tickets.
And this is nice play from Enox. He was the player that rotated towards that A flag, recognized C was pretty much a lost cause, and now, once again, the aggression for that trip cap. And it's going to be Marcy who's just going to be on that B flag, just doing a bit of defensive duty here. 14-5, his score. A fantastic... You said he was your player to watch. He was that player that you thought should really stand out from this uMAV team, and he is doing just that. 14-5, fantastic score. About to make it 15-5 as well with the kill there. But he's going to be last man standing, and this is going to be a crucial time. In fact, he goes down as well, and it's going to be a trip cap in favor of Pyro now.
This is now when it gets really, really close. If Pyro can keep this BC hold going, they are going to be able to draw a lot of tickets out of uMAV when they shouldn't. But uMAV are probably going to try and hit B and C at the same time here, and that might open up for a spawn behind A. But we'll have to wait and see. But this C flag coming up soon, if you put it on Drunks here, coming around the back of it, this is going to be the key fight of the game.
Well, let's have a look at Drunks. He's gone all the way around the outside. He said he likes attacking from behind. His enemy not really expecting it. Malcium goes down, so does someone else. He's got one in front of him. He's going to pick up that kill on Hex. Is second in the corner. Can Drunks go big for his team? Yes, he can. Nicely played. And he's going to get the revive as well. And you can see the tickets on your scoreboard, 18-12. A very, very close game, but Drunks going big there for uMAV. It looks like pressure is being applied on B as well. And uMAV, it was a very close game, but it's looking like now they should be able to take it.
Well, yeah, but there's a big spawn just came in. Very, very rare at the bottom right here. And PyRoGEN have one last chance, but they need to run in quick. They've got the kill there, but they need to get into the flag. They need to get it under consension, and I don't think they're going to do it. But that was close for them. 18 tickets is not as bad as it was. But you got to remember, PyRoGEN were way ahead at one point. Way ahead.
Yes.
And that has not translated at all to the end there. And 18 tickets, not much. But
It's something though, right?
considering they were so far behind. I mean, that's what's interesting. Yeah, Marsu there, like 17 for 6, 17 for 12 for Drunks, and 17 for 9. They like 17. And like I said, uMAV like to get the kills. And PyRoGEN had a great start, but they fell away hard at the middle. And then they picked it up at the end, but the lead they had, they squandered it.
It was actually interesting to see the way that they started it. The way Pyro kind of just went all in. They basically said straight off the bat, all right, if we're going to beat uMAV, we need to be aggressive. We need to get straight in their faces. And as the game sort of carried on going and the further we got through, the way uMAV kind of turned that around and said, well, we want to play our game now. We want to be the aggressive team. We want to get in your faces. And eventually uMAV were able to turn that all the way around. But it's a very fragile 18-ticket lead. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's nothing, but it's easy. Well, I say easy. It's easier to come back on as opposed to, some of the bigger ticket leads that we've seen earlier on, 34s, 50s, even 100 to start the day off. I mean, if you're sat in Pyro's shoes right now, I'm not going to say you're comfortable, but you can still have faith that you can take it.
Yeah, but I think what might be more worrying, especially from PyRoGEN's point of view, is it feels like the momentum that uMAV have is starting to pick up once again. They played from behind quite significantly. Mm-hmm. It was like 60 tickets at one point, and then they just...
It was big, yeah.
Yeah, and from then on out, they've just been on top of this killing, and that must start to be a little bit disconcerting.
So how do you stop that? How do you stop a team who just gets in control in the slaying department? I mean, what is it that you do? How do you just cancel that out?
You maximize exactly what you reward and gain. If you're going to go up against players who are going to more likely outshoot you, overwhelm them. Attack in the places which are easier to take, sneaky. Be as aggressive as possible, but not like right in their face.
Okay.
Just go around them. Try and outthink your opponent. And there's a few times, and maybe not so much against them at top teams, they'll work it out. But in a lot of cases, you can just get around opponents. Let them cap a flag. Let them leave. Think. Where's he going to be now? Is he still going to be defending it, or is he going to be pulled off somewhere else? And then spawn an extra player, take a flag. Easy. No one to stop you at that point.
It's interesting you say that, because we've seen that a lot already throughout the day. Players that have just allowed flags to go, being very close and just kind of saying, that's fine, not worried. We'll reposition, we'll guess where he is, we'll get the kill, then we'll get the flag back. It's very... I think it's a better way of playing the game. I think using more of your head and using your brain a little bit more and benefiting from it. And that just shows outthinking those teams which are just going to be full on aggression, foot on the pedal, just straight in your face.
Yeah, I mean, that's classic Battlefield in a way. Battlefield's always been a game of quite open spaces. Even though domination might seem quite small, it's still very open compared to a lot of FPSs. And Battlefield players' minds have evolved for that. So they will spend a lot of times, and in classic Battlefields before it, there were plenty of times where you would just wait out flags. Like, they're going to cap it, they're going to leave, then we're going to take that flag back. And they're going to be none the wiser. And that's something that still filters down today, but maybe not so much as in previous titles. But it's still very prevalent in a lot of the pro scene. A lot of players do it, especially Asterix is one of those that do it quite a lot. Fnatic do it significantly, a lot of times in their games they do it as well. Not so much in uMAV's favour though. They're more of a just keep that pressure, keep that.
Just
run. Let the other team just break down in cold sweats and worry and just have them shaking by the end of it.
It's impressive when you think about it, considering how Pyro came out very aggressive themselves, and uMAV were able to just turn it on its head. And then, as you said, Pyro kind of just broke down a little bit. They weren't able to capture anything. Anything they did cap, you saw uMAV just overextend, rotate, and cap their home flag. It's just so nicely done by uMAV. It kind of does beg the question, what have you really got to do to try and beat this team? How do you really counter that aggression? Because, we saw Pyro come out fantastically. They had, as you said, like a 60-ticket lead at one point in that game. And then uMAV were like, well, sorry, we're just going to go ahead and take this game.
Well, at the end of the day, if you can already get 60 tickets ahead of a team, what you just got to work on is keeping it. That's all. You've already got the blueprint. You've already got the start. It's from then on out, it's just learning to keep it going.
Well, the spawns have now switched. And I'm having a look at uMAV off the break. It's going to be Marsu making his way to B. However, there's going to be 2 players from Pyro. In fact, nearly 3 just covering that B flag. A actually hasn't gone in favor of uMAV, so that's going to be a big loss straight off the back. That was actually Pyro Hexus who rushed straight towards that. So now uMAV, they need to cap that B flag. Otherwise, this could be a potential trip cap. And you can tell Pyro, they smell that blood. I'm going to get on board with Malcium and see if he can try and cap it and push for that trip cap. And they've got it.
Wow, once again, uMAV off to an absolutely terrible start. And PyRoGEN just getting some key kills. That one on Asterix, a safe player generally, but as soon as he went down, that was A wide open. And I think that really confused uMAV. But look at uMAV, bottom left corner, B flag. That is going to be a big effort. And you can see PyRoGEN expected a big push at C, so they have sent 3 people to deal with just one, and that was Asterix. But they're going to lose that B flag.
That B flag should be taken away from them. It's going to be Marsu, and he's going to be able to just slowly capture that flag. Has the spot of a teammate as well, so that should go in his favor. And only 2 players for Pyro actually up. Finally, these teammates are respawning, but you have to say Pyro came out very, very aggressive indeed. And I really don't think uMAV expected that.
No, not at all. But once again, they've stabilized the game. B, A hold, ticket bleed in their favor. Obviously, they are a bit behind, but they're slowing the game down, and I think that works in their favor because they do have the bleeds, obviously. But PyRoGEN doing a good job, but they're being contained in the C flag, and as good as the flag is, the bleed's against them, and they need to get out of there, and they need to get out of there soon.
Yeah, they are going to need to just try and extend across. And let's have a look at the map. You see how they're going to try and do it. You can see one player there. IKO, he's going to make his way towards A. Has that player behind him in the form of Enox. There should be a gunfight any second now. Let's have a look, see who's going to win it. It's going to be IKO. He shuts down Enox. Now can think about trying to cap this A flag and just put the bleed back in their favor.
Yeah, Drunkson's sitting in the middle of the map, being a very key player because he's like being a drop-off point for a lot of the spawns. So that's going to be... They've lost that A flag. That's not a problem because they've got C. C and B mutually defensible, and that's the flags they want. There's no one in their rear. They are pretty much clear for an easy defense of B and C here. They just need to stop this forward momentum with Pyro, but right now they are positioned perfectly to do it.
Yeah, nice kills coming in from Drunks as well. As you said, he was that player who was just trying to stay alive, just give his teammates that spawn, and he's actually rotated all the way to A. Now, if you're Drunks, do you cap it? Do you go for it?
Oh, yeah. At this point, they've got a full domination cap if they want it. Baden and Asterix over at C stopped a 3-man push from PyRoGEN, and as soon as that happened, this is really looking bad for Pyro. Any momentum they have has just been stopped brutally, and uMAV, even though they're threatening that A flag, that's literally just to buy time, and right now that B and C hold is the thing that they need to be worried about.
Drunks just destroyed Hexus off that flag. 8-3 to start. He's going to see another couple of players over on that A flag, and Drunks is just really being a nuisance right now. He's being a pain. Pyro need to try and take him out because he's just causing all sorts of problems over at A, and you have to give him props for that. 8-3 to start the game off, and he's actually decided to just back off and just come in a different approach just to help his team out on the defensive side of things. Shuts down Flasher as well. And how do Pyro get themselves back into this?
Well, they're doing the best they can now. They've just literally wiped 4 members of uMAV off the mat, so I think that's a great start, really. C and A are in their control, but A is one of these flags, and look, you can see a 2-man rotation already just to stop what was going to be Baden and Enox. That's the one they could see coming a mile off, and the B flag as well. But the fight over at C is going to be an important one, but I don't know if Drunks wants to take it yet. I mean, this is a back-and-forth game all over the board, and Pyro Ikono goes huge at C and takes out a 2-man, and that is going to be a flag capture coming in. A, though, is going to probably go over to uMAV, but Drunks was shut down on that push on C, and now that bleed goes back over to Pyro, and it's kind of all oh, that's a huge kill on Baden. Him going down and Flasher and Monster being all over that A flag, a full domination could happen, and it's all down to Ikono being able to stop it. He goes down, and that's a 3-man uMAV all over that B flag, but there's nothing they can do to A. I guess a C fight is on the cards for both teams here, but uMAV seem to be happy just sitting in the middle of the map and picking wherever they feel like going, really.
Yeah, they've got just that time, it seems, to really pick where they want to go. Meanwhile, Malcium for Pyro, he's going to try and do the defensive duty over on the C flag, just waiting for someone to challenge. He finally does get challenged, doesn't pick up the kill, and that's going to open up that C flag for anyone from uMAV. Oh, there's only 3 players up, make that 2. Marsu and Asterix need to try and get themselves some better positioning, because right now it is Pyro who do have that bleed. They have Alpha and Charlie in their control, but still uMAV with the lead, 87 to 80 tickets in the second side.
Yeah, this fight over here at C is just Hexus by himself, but anyone else that can come in to save him at this point is going to be a huge boost, because this C flag is so key. And there you go, PyRoGEN give up the ghost on that flag, but they're still fighting for B. Monster's sitting on the outside, and he's going to be a spawn point, because I got a feeling they're probably not going to have much success with that B flag now. And this is going to be an interesting one, because the tickets are pretty much level right now, but uMAV have the best hold in the map, which is the BC. And right now, Pyro need to move quickly to stop it before uMAV start rotating around the map and threatening A when they're trying to push.
Well, I think that's exactly what is about to happen. Drunks rotated all the way to B, recognized that the Pyro push was going to be towards that C flag. He's back where he was, causing Pyro some problems at the A flag, and he has just seen someone dip underneath. He's going to avoid that gunfight, actually. Doesn't want to fight it. Looks back towards the stairs. There it is. That's going to be the second. Get some help from his teammates, and you can see squad spawning on him. He's going to jump on this flag, and should be able to pick up the A flag as well.
Yeah, he did, but at the same time, his little helper got took out as well, and Pyro once again attacking that A flag. Pyro also attacking B. This is a fight all over the map right now, and PyRoGEN are just keeping up with uMAV.
Oh, Drunks, please, no.
Oh, that was a 3-man kill. And that's
oh my God.
Wow, I mean, yeah. Well, what are you going to do? Two French powerhouses over at A. Enoch's giving them some support. And look where those spawns came in, right above A. But you can see at C, they're taking time to capture that flag because they're expecting it to be defended. As soon as A starts flashing, they know where they are. And that's going to be a BC hold. And this is looking really good for uMAV now.
Yeah, uMAV in control. You got iCow on your screen right now. And looking at the kill column, 51 in favor of uMAV to 31 in favor of Pyro. And that really just sort of tell that story of the uMAV aggression and just the way that they're getting those kills. I mean, you've got Astrix 15 and 7, Drunk 17 and 6, Marsu 7 and 5 having a pretty solid game. He may not be the top of his stats, but he doesn't need to. Every gunfight he's needed to win, he has done. And Pyro just cannot respond. It looks as well as if uMAV are going to push for that trip cap again.
Yeah, and this is what's coming down with PyRoGEN's momentum's always been stopped dead by 1 or 2 kills, and then they wait around. Obviously, they want more people to spawn in before they move forward, and that was huge. Marsu picking up 2 kills on that A flag. That's securing a full domination cap for some time to come. Hex is getting the kill over at the C flag, a very, very important kill for him, but that ticket bleed is staying with uMAV, and with that bleed continuing like this, I cannot see PyRoGEN coming back.
Well, it was an 18 ticket advantage in favor of uMAV off that first side. And now Pyro at 19-18. That's a tied game. Can they just try and hold on? No, they can't. And that is going to be game number 1 going in favor of uMAV. And you know, the slaying that they had in the second side, you've got to give them props for. But it was interesting because they started off very similar in both sort of sides. In the first side, Pyro came out very aggressive, won all the early trades, were able to get the better of it. And the second side, Pyro actually got a trip cap within the first minute of the game, and you were sat there thinking, oh, okay, they can do this. But again, uMAV persevered and just turned the cards around and were able to come out victorious.
They're used to playing from behind. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to be playing from behind all the time, but they're totally used to doing it.
Why is that, though?
I don't know. I mean, overconfidence, maybe.
Okay.
They seem to be very thinly spread, and if any single one of those guys die, that pretty much opens up a flag. So that's what happened. Asterix got took out. As soon as he went down, A flag was gone. There's nothing they could do about it. And as soon as they even start thinking about going back to A, they would then be picked off by other players in the center. That would stop any pressure on the C flag. That's where the full domination cap sprung from. The B flag is always up in the air because it's a 2-on-2. You're peeking corners around tanks. It could go anyway. But as soon as you start losing 1 kill, it starts to all fall apart. It's like a house of cards. But look at that. Asterix 20 for 8, 19 for 7 for Drunks. And over on the other side, PyRoGEN just couldn't keep up with the pace. And that's something that uMAV constantly do. They just ramp it up, and other teams either can keep up or they just fall at the wayside. And that's definitely what happened in that map.
So now going over to the second map, are you looking for more of the same? You know, more uMAV pressure and just aggression and Pyro not being able to keep up? Or do you reckon Pyro maybe going to try something a little bit different? Because, I mean, they've started so far the series fantastically in both halves. Like I said, really good aggression, but then it's fallen off just simply because they can't keep up with that pace. So what about that? Is that a good luck charm? I mean,
I believe so.
That's awesome. I want one.
Koala, yeah.
That looks so soft. I want it. I want it. But what I was going to say is, what have Pyro got to do? I mean, how do you keep up with that when it just doesn't seem like you can?
you've got a strong start, just maintain it. And that's what it comes down to. If you can get a start like that and you can take 80, 50, 40 tickets off someone, from then on out, all you got to do is keep it going and not panic when it goes wrong. And I think Pyro are kind of clutching at straws when their initial attacks break down. They need to just throw themselves in there and just take the flags. Don't worry, you've just relax.
Just calm down.
But it's this map. This map is where it's going to be a very, very tall order. I think if there was a map that Pyro were going to win on against uMAV, yeah, it would have been that one.
Oh, really? Siege of Shanghai. Well, you can see the graphic on your screen where the flags are located, but you're saying it's going to be this one if they're going to win on any of them. I'm curious to see if you're right or wrong there. I'm not going to lie. It's I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 if I'm honest. I'm not sure where this map's going to go because uMAV just looks so strong, but then I can see what you're saying. You know, this map, the way it's played out, definitely going to be Pyro's best chance. But off the break, uMAV not wasting any time for once, for a bit of a change. They have control of A and B. Now all they need to do is just keep it and build upon it. If they continue that aggression, you have to say it's going to be favouring them.
Yeah, I honestly cannot see uMAV losing this map. I'll go out on a limb here and say this is going to be, I think, a one-sided game. uMAV are very, very dangerous right now. And already they're picking up the kills. And look at them rotating in here over on that A flag. One guy from Pyro, and he was attacked from 3 sides. Now, he managed to get the kill on them, but at that point, it was already a lost cause. And right now, uMAV's rotations are going to be perfect. They are so good on this map. I've seen them against MYM recently, and they absolutely made them look average. They just rotated perfectly. They were going to lose the A flag. They did enough to keep it there for a bit, but they were already on the attack. And by the time the flag was gone, they would already have captured the other, and the bleed would continue. But the fight is always about the B flag. B flag is everything in Shanghai, and right now, uMAV are holding it.
Yeah, Marsu pretty much by himself trying to do as much as he could. The rest of his teammates went down. It's going to be Enox last alive. Picks up a very important kill there. Can he just keep that B flag? ANC has gone. That is in favor of Pyro now, but Enox just staying alive, doing what he can. He's going to get it. His teammates have spawned on him as well, so he has got a little bit of support there, and it looks like they're going to rotate back towards C, but that is going to be held off by Pyro.
Yeah, Pyro doing a good job here, and especially around the C flag, as that's 3 guys from uMAV that spawned and tried to take that C flag, but were shut down. So Pyro making me look a bit of a fool here. And, but there's a kill on Monster, and that opens up A, and there's no response from Pyro. There's nothing they can do except from attack B, which is generally a difficult thing to do. It's such an easy flag to defend.
Well, you say that, but everyone from uMAV just got taken out there. Drunks included. Going to be left to Marsu. He's going to be the last one up. Luckily, Astric does just spawn in, but B is being taken away from them. They have managed to keep A. Now, this is the question. Does Marsu push towards C? Just wants to wait a little bit just so he can have some support from his teammates. But it's going to have to be an AC flag cap combination because it doesn't look like they're in any position really to try and capture B. And Marsu really going the long way around the safe way, just trying to pick off anyone from Pyro that he can see.
Yeah, and this is one of these maps where the spawns around C are quite regular, but since the change, it also happens around A as well. This is a brilliant play from Pyro. They're doing everything right here. There's a big kill around C, though, and it's a one-on-one, and more and more are coming in, and Pyro get it. That's brilliant. Round C for them, that is an important one. But look at those spawns already. uMAV top of the map, coming down, and you know what flag they want, because they're going for beat, and they're going for it really hard right now.
Yeah, they really are. You see Astrix just putting down the order there. Is he going to be able to just fend his team, help his teammates by fending off Pyro? He's managed to shut down Ico. That B flag is being taken. You see him just being a little bit more aggressive now, pushing towards that C side. This is more of the uMAV that we have seen, that aggression just not letting up. And this is a really, really good push coming from uMAV. However, C is being taken. And are they going to be able to get it? That's the question.
Ikenho here is the key player right now. They need to keep alive and keep these spawns going on this B flag before the rotation from C is complete onto B. And you can just see, if you bring up Minima, you just see they're completely surrounded. Pyro is surrounded from all sides on that flag. And this is the trap, I think, that uMAV like to play on people. They'll hold this C and B. Now, the people like Asterix are probably going to go on the upper balcony there. You can see them over at C. And this is what they're going to hold. Now, they know as soon as there's a break on either the B or C flag, they'll just go for A. And they'll let you take it, and that's what they want. BC every time.
Well, Drunks over at the B flag is going to see Flasher in the corner, not able to pick that one up as a couple more players go down. One of them on Enox now, who's again just trying to do some defensive duty. He looks towards his right. So many blue Doritos over on that side. Squad spawns on him though, so he is going to have a little bit of support while trying to defend that B flag. But he sees someone in the corner. He's not really in a position to challenge it. Flag status is being taken away from him. Peaks picks up the kill. One to the left-hand side. Small work for Enox before he finally does get taken out.
Yeah, and this fight in B is still going on. I mean,
so many players there right now.
Yeah, and this is spawns for you, and uMAV take it, and there's so many people to spawn on top, and some people are still revived, and it's chaotic just as much for us as it is for the players. But you can see that uMAV, they could take that A flag at any point, but instead they just go and fight fire with fire, and they just fight it and take C. I mean, there's no one on Pyro. I mean, there was a spawn just coming from Monstro, but everyone else is dead, and that is just the proof. But if you go head-to-head with uMAV like that, you are going to come off the loser. And yeah, that is just also in the tickets now, 90 to 61. They're going to lose that C flag, but that A has been open the whole time. At no point did they even go for it.
I'm curious to find out why. Why did uMAV not recognize that and push A? I mean, they've decided they want to defend C. I mean, that's, I don't want to say risky, but it hasn't really played into what we've seen from uMAV. Normally, uMAV will be, their C flag will be being taken away from them, and what you'll see is that full rotation towards A, but this time they're kind of doing a bit of both, really.
Yeah, well, that aggression on C has paid off, and the one man sent away, but the one time that it was defended, Marsu didn't really have much trouble with anyway.
My God,
that's a full dom. So this is looking really bad for Pyro. And uMAV are just playing their aggression, and they're just absolutely dictating the pace of this matchup. And Pyro are just struggling now, and they're going to get locked out on the C, and C is such a difficult one to take. If you see where Drunks and Enox are positioned, this can really make what should be an easy capture very, very difficult.
Drunks just figuring out the spawns there. He turned the corner, tried to get a kill. Wasn't to be, though. 87 to 24 is your ticket lead. Still with the trip cap in favor of uMAV. Finally, just 2 players alive for uMAV, and that C flag being taken away from them. It doesn't look like uMAV are going to have anything they can do there, but that B flag still under their control. There's going to be one player pushing. It's going to be Malcium. Is he going to be able to try and pick up that B flag? Lots of shots fired at Enox. Finally shuts him down. There's going to be even more players at that B flag.
Pyro have no choice now. If they do not break at B, they are never going to be able to bleed away many tickets. They need to get the kills. They're already getting it. uMAV are spawning in. There's only one left from uMAV. He's down. There was only 2 left from Pyro on that flag, but they are all that's needed for the capture. Now, at this point, they are not going to win this round unless they are the best. But they have a chance here to bleed away these tickets and take this lead down to make the next round not as difficult. 11 tickets is what they're holding on. Every revive is important. Everything is important at this point. And you can see Hexus is trying to get the capture on the A flag. It's risky to do it, but they need to do something. And right now, even though it's not brilliant, I mean, they're being threatened at C and at B, they're doing a good job. And look at that lead slowly go down.
Yeah, this is crucial. Every single ticket counts at this point. 63 to 10. That B flag now is being contested. Hexus shuts down 1. He shuts down 2. Massive play coming from him, but he does get taken down. Now, just looking over at that B flag, it's currently neutral. Who is going to be there? Drunks for uMAV. Is he going to be able to capture it? That could be the nail round.
Yeah, but you can see Malicium already went for the A flag. He's going to have some trouble coming in from Baden now. Don't know if he knows he's there. He doesn't even need to kill him. He just needs to stay in the cap area and stop him from getting the flag. And that is a real issue for them right now. They can't spawn in any more players, and you can see that around the board they're just struggling. And I think, yeah, this is going to be about it. But a really strong display by them. They're going to keep this bleeders going as long as they can, but they just can't spawn in any more players.
It's always horrible to see, but to be fair to them, they've made it, I don't want to say, easy, but it's definitely better than it was, as you rightfully said. They weren't playing for the win necessarily now. They were just playing to make it not as difficult as it was previously. As you can see, 45 tickets could be the lead, but Malcium's just rotated all the way to that B flag. Does not want to give it up. There's only Malcium and Flash are up now for Pyro, and they are holding on to give them their credit. Can they knock them down below 40 tickets? That would be huge. Still, they've managed to do it. Just 1 ticket. They're holding on to A and B. This is ridiculous.
There's 2 guys on the board for Pyro right now, and one of them gets a kill at A. It's just Malicium by himself at that B flag. They're just going to cap that, even if he's there. There's nothing he could do. But there were 2 guys from Pyro still alive, even though they were out of tickets. They were just fighting till the last man, and that was absolutely brilliant play. Brought down what would have been a very decisive win by uMAV to not so bad. 38 is still pretty good, but wow. PyRoGEN, really went ham, and that's brilliant from them.
They held on. They really did. They did not want to give up. I think it was a 60-ticket lead at one point in that game, and considering that's now been reduced to 38, not bad. Got to give Pyro props.
Pyro were playing with like 3 players
Exactly.
at one point. They couldn't spawn in anymore. If they did, they would have gone down the tickets. So they
It
had
makes
to
you
just hold
think, though,
back.
why could they not do that with 5 people?
It becomes an interesting thing, right? Because you know you're so close to winning, some teams just get ultra aggressive. That's what happened with Dignitas.
Yeah.
They knew they were ahead, and then they just started coming forward and then getting picked off. And honestly, from Flashor and Melisium, the blood must have been flowing extra faster. Everything must have been going in slow-mo. I mean, they were getting some very important kills, especially on that A flag. And he didn't lose B. He didn't lose the B flag. He was just outnumbered enough that the flag was captured from under him. He was still there at the end of that game.
That was so funny. Just the refusal to give up. That's what you got to love. And you've got to remember, uMAV, they did take the first map. Not necessarily convincingly, but it was still a good victory for them, just out-aggressing Pyro, and they have a 38-ticket lead going into the second side of this map, and Pyro, they hung on. To give them props, they really did, but uMAV just, again, showing that aggression and that pace that they play at, so difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, some teams just can't, and but at the same time, uMAV seem to just get a bit cocky, and I think that's definitely what we saw there, and I think that's what we've seen in Locker when they lost to Planet Key, and I think that's something, obviously Pyro can just relax, and they need to be patient here. They can beat uMAV, they just need to take them into the deep waters and drown them a bit, but it's all about the start, and Pyro looking good right now, but you can see uMAV are looking for more aggression to the center of the map, looking for A instead of B.
Yeah, you can see a couple of players actually got taken out there. Baden was one of them. It looks like he is going to be revived, though. B was given up uncontested. uMAV, they just allowed Pyro to really take that, and they're going to pay the price because those 2 players in the middle of the map are going to be taken out. Drunks, though, he's going to put some pressure on A, and I want to have a look and see whether he's actually going to be able to try and capture this. Has the support of Enox just around the corner. Pre-fire coming, he spins around, he knows that the spawns are going to change now. Is he going to be able to pick up that kill in front of him? Yes, he is. Nicely done. That was Malsium, and the revive comes in as well. Good start for Drunks.
Yeah, over at Marsu, sole defender of that C flag, but he's in a good position to cause some issues here. On that upper balcony on C, really a good position for them. Something that uMAV used quite a lot in this matchup, and you can just see it.
Just as you say that.
Yeah, like literally causing so many issues for any of the attackers here. And uMAV came out of the gates looking for that AC hold, not looking for B, knowing that they got to soften up that target, bleed out a few defenders before they go even close to it. And now I think their time is right. They've got C, and they're going to go for that B flag. A being defended by 2, so yeah, they've got the numbers now to overwhelm that B, but you can see the spawns coming in. It's going to be a 3-man defense on that B flag.
Yeah, just having a look. Enox with the support of Baden there, and Drunks looks like they're going to try and push towards that B flag. Let's have a look and see if Baden can try and do it. There's one player in the distance, and just being very patient. Now Peaks just has a look to his left-hand side. Teammate picks up that one, and that's going to be the B flag in favor of uMAV without a shadow of a doubt. They have C as well. The bleed is going to be in their favor, and this is how it always seems to start every time between these two teams. You'll see Pyro with a good start, then uMAV all of a sudden just kicking into that extra gear, really start getting in Pyro's faces, and Pyro just, to be honest, can't keep up.
It's the rotations at uMAV that are really, really important here. They put a lot of pressure onto that B early. Then they knew that C was being attacked. They already gone back to defend it. They go back and forth. This is what they did against NYM, and it was so successful. They just bounced between this B and C constantly. And when they knew that they were going to lose out at some point by playing that, they switched up and went for A. And you can see right now they're not going to give up that B flag. They are coming in hard for that. That's a 4-man spawn. And that was a massive wipe. 4-man from Pyro down at the B flag, and they're still stuck outside. And now you can see that uMAV are looking to consolidate their victory there with a A capture and a full domination cap coming up soon. This is going to be Trip Cap City, and uMAV are just so aggressive, and they're just doing everything they want. They're imposing their will, and they're getting away with pretty much everything they want. They wanted the C and B, and then they just let the opponents come and attack them. They rotate perfectly, shut them down, and then they get a full cap.
Perfect domination at this point. I mean, they have the 3 cap, and they're slaying Pyro off spawn every single time. And you can just see pretty much all of uMAV up at this point. Only 3 players for Pyro. However, that A flag is being taken away. I'm having a look at Marsu. Can he try and stop it? I mean, it isn't necessarily a massive kill, but if he can do it, you know, just going to end this game a little bit quicker. You can probably go grab some lunch.
Yeah, and then you can just see that the spawns were just massive for Pyro. 3 guys spawned on top right above C flag, but it doesn't matter because they haven't had a quick victory.
Yep.
They've been slowed down into a very back and forth matchup. At no point does anyone get a significant win, and as soon as that happens, that only favors the side that already has the ticket bleed. So you can see B has just gone over massive for PyRoGEN. This is their chance to come back here with the B and the A. They need to just position themselves correctly, shut down this push on A, and just bleed away these tickets. This is a good hold here, but they just need to respond correctly to the pressure that uMAV are putting on. And right now, they're just hanging on B and hoping that everything goes well, and that is not going to go well.
No, Enox just ran straight to that A flag, killed IKO straight off it, and they're going to grab that 2 flag lead back in their favor. 108 to 73. Not as big as necessarily looking in terms of the plays that have been made and how long that they've held that trip cap. It was a 38 ticket lead as well from that first side, but uMAV in full control of this game so far. Pyro just hanging onto that B flag. They finally decided to rotate to C, and Enox, he's just doing some defensive duty over there, and he should pick up another kill there. Easily done on IKO. And again, uMAV just in full control.
Yeah, Melisium just went huge, got 3-man kill of that C flag. He's still on a 1-on-1. Asterix takes him out. And this is what it comes down to, very simply. This is the chance that PyRoGEN need. They've got this A, they got the B, but they never keep the bleed. The bleed is constantly flicking over back to uMAV, and uMAV can play this game. They don't mind if they don't have a bleed constantly. They just keep the game close. They have a 38 ticket lead from the previous round. That's all. They just got to make sure the game's close. And it's Pyro that have to do something spectacular. They need to be getting the trip caps. They need to be the ultra aggressive or just very consistent with a 2 flag hold, and they are neither right now.
Well, you say that, and 4 players go down for them. Flasher was left up. Melisium has just spawned in. However, to their credit, they have held A and B just a little bit longer, but they need to just put themselves in, it seems, a more aggressive position. Right now, it just seems like everyone is being so defensive on the flags that they have. They're not really able to fight for that control of the map, and they're not able to push for that trip cap, which I think they need now, to be completely honest. I mean, they don't need it necessarily mathematically, but it would definitely relieve a lot of pressure and just help them out massively. Yeah,
but Pyro, because of uMAV's constant pressure on that A flag, are now playing a very deep defensive game on that A flag, which means that B is wide open. And that's so you can see that measured push from uMAV onto that A flag. It's just Flasher defending it by himself. But you can see that PyRoGEN are also pushing every flag and trying and get that full cap. Oh, that is brilliant. Coming around the back there, Melisium picking up those 2 kills. That is going to give them their chance here. They're going to get the C, they're going to get the B flag. And at the same time, you can see Melisium trying to make it even more. He's holding back the wave of uMAV at the A flag.
Yeah, really nice stuff there. As that A flag looking like it will finally get taken. Took them a bit of time, but uMAV have got control of it. And this game all of a sudden just got a little bit closer. It really did. 65 to 50 is the ticket lead, but B and C being taken away from Pyro right now. B was stopped, so was C. So Pyro actually looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, but that's 3 guys dead on the board and Asterix near the C flag. He is going to be spawned on, and it's going to be a fight for that C flag. B is going to be drawn out, I feel, but this C flag, that is huge. Monster getting the kill over at the C flag. It was trades all round, but that's fine as long as the bleed stays in PyRoGEN's favor. This is really good for Pyro. They need to keep this going. They are very, very close to the cutoff point. They need to play a very smart game. At no point now can they lose this bleed. They lose the bleed, they've lost this game. They need to keep this A, B, or at least rotate and get the A. They need to keep the bleed consistent now.
Oh, it's not looking good though. A couple of players do go down for Pyro. Now it's going to be down to Flasher to try and do some defensive duty on B. C is being taken away as well. Flasher needs to just peek around that corner, but he knows there's players all around him. He's done so well to stay alive. B flag has been taken though. He is going to get shut down. C as well is looking like that should be taken away from them. Just have a quick look. In fact, IKO has just got a favorable spawn. He should be able to hop on and grab that. But it was a 38 ticket lead. You were right. They couldn't lose that bleed. They did do, and that is going to be game.
Yeah, that was it. And like you said, uMAV just looking really, really good in this map. And as soon as they get that BC hold, it becomes incredibly difficult for a lot of teams to respond. And you could see a lot of the times there, when uMAV couldn't capture a flag, they would just threaten the cap, keep it locked, make sure that they couldn't get away from it. And a very, very solid display for them.
Yeah, you've got to give them some big, big credit there. uMAV looking very strong. Gotta really say that they are fighting that any counter aggression thrown at them, which seems like a logical way of beating a team that's very aggressive, fight fire with fire, so to speak. They just respond and are able to get their foot back in the game and really are playing very well. I'm just looking at the kill column. You've got Drunks 13 and 14, Astrix 13 and 7. No individual really standing out in terms of 20 and 2 or anything ridiculous, but the whole team just slaying well and getting those crucial kills in the crucial places.
Yeah, and there's a thing about Battlefield domination is always quite interesting. The first round, you might have 1 or 2 players that have like a really, really big kill streak. Second game will always be either competitive, especially when one team has a big lead.
Yeah.
The game will be quite competitive because the other team know that they don't have to do anything crazy, it just needs to be close. They don't need to go out and try and hunt easy kills. All they need to do is play a nice, smart game. Both teams are a bit more relaxed usually, but yeah, a league like that for uMAV was always going to be all they needed.
Yeah, they really did play that very, very well, and that's going to put them sat waiting in a very nice position. Winner of the group so far, they're going to have to play the winner of the losers bracket game, or the lower bracket game, as it's also called. And obviously, I can't ask your prediction on that game because I expect you to say the team Dignitas, of course, unless you were going to be crazy and.
Well, they might come after me if I say otherwise. Exactly. But with PyRoGEN right now against either the winner of Planet Key, I guess, and Dignitas, that would be an interesting one. I'm not going to make one. I'm not going to make one. I think
play your cards safe.
All 3 of those teams can win. Okay. And all 3 of them are very, very close.
Well, they definitely have put up a great performance, but I also want to just, well, we have you here, and I personally just want to find out. I said earlier on, Group B, to me, is the group of death. That's just the way I look at it, just some really top caliber. I mean, you look at the first game, Epsilon versus Fnatic in that Group B. I mean, who do you see realistically coming through from that Group B?
I'm going to have to go back into it for players at some point, and they're going to hunt me down.
Yeah,
for
they
this,
will.
But the way I'm calling it is it's going to be Fnatic and MYM walking through, and I do not think at all. I think Epsilon will not be able to take on.
He said it, not me.
Fnatic or MYM. No, I'll call it right now. I'm convinced that MYM and Fnatic will probably both beat Epsilon.
Wow. Okay. Well, you've been pretty. I've got to give it to you. You've been pretty spot on with predictions so far. Obviously, can't count a Dignitas prediction because you're always going to say Dignitas. That's a given. But every other game so far,
I did 100%. Say 2-1 in that game. Maybe I should have just said 2-1. Should have just said 2-1. It would have been easy.
Just trying to add for extra props. I see. That's how it is. But so far, your predictions have been pretty good as well. Everyone at home, I'm pretty sure, has been predicting the team that's won every single time. So 100% record for everyone at home that's been voting. So congratulations. You can win some fantastic goodies, which I saw you were eyeing at the goodies. I want to definitely try and get some. But I believe we have Paul down on the floor with another interview.
Yes, I do indeed have both men from either side of the last match that we saw. Firstly, Trunks, from uMAV's point of view, that was like a demolition in there, and everything seemed to go very well. I don't suppose it was easy, and I'm sure you're going to tell me it's not easy, but 2-0 is better than you could have dreamed of, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess we were just expecting to play this game very well, and we did. The first game was actually... we didn't give 100%, I guess. But this game was the most important to us, playing against Pyro, and that's why we wanted the win against Pyro. This is something we played them online and lost them a few times, but we are LAN, and we said this time it's ours, and we got it.
Are they onliners then?
No, they're offliners. That was kind of a close game, but I guess we pulled out a better game and a better map control overall, so we got it.
What was the difference between the first match that you played, where you said yourselves you were slightly disappointing? What was the difference between the first match and the second one? You just warmed up? Are you used to the setup? What is it?
Yeah, there's a bit of warm-up, but Pyro has a different gameplay than Planet Key, so they are less aggressive than Planet Key from what I've seen. They tend to try to order the positions, and this way we're not lost. Like, it's not a big mess. We don't have to run everywhere. We can map control pretty much easier, and when we can map control, it's pretty much good for us because we can get them on the flags we want, and then we can cap the flag we want on the back. So.
Okay, I've been asked to ask you, are you following the Ocelot wardrobe?
Nice one. No, not actually, but this is my, let's say, my trademark.
This is your trademark, okay, Ocelot?
This is also Ocelot's trademark, yeah. I stole it from him.
You stole it from him, or he stole it from you?
he's solid for me.
Yeah, I thought so as well. That swine. Carlos, if you're watching, stop stealing people's wardrobe. Thank you very much, Drunks. Congratulations. Iko, commiserations. A difficult match against these guys, and obviously, fellow Frenchman here giving you a hard time. What for you, why did that not work out quite so well as the first match you played?
Well, we started well, and then they wiped us, and our mental went down, and then we couldn't, come back from that, and well, they really play strong, so.
Yeah, in both maps, it seemed like you came out very well. I mean, there was a tri-cap in the start, and then a tri-cap in again in the second time. Why were you able not to hold the points so well this time?
We lost our jolts. They were stronger, as I said. They are really good aim players, and well, we just couldn't hold.
What do you expect to happen in the lower bracket now? Which team do you think might come through for you to face for the last place?
I would like to win, of course, but PKD is also a great team. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
You seem, the team all seem very kind of down after that. I mean, how do you pick yourselves back up now and mentally be stronger for the next match?
We're gonna take a break now, just a little break to get back from that, and well, we'll see now.
Well, best of luck, and thanks for coming down and joining us at EMS1. Still got one more game, which you may be able to win and go through to the next round. So, okay, that's it from the interview area. We do have a little bit of a reminder for you that we are doing a competition where you can win a lot of Battlefield 4 goodies, of course, with fan art that looks something like this. Take a look at this. Yes, very good, people, very good. If you want to do stuff like that by using my face and putting it in Battlefield, that's fine, I'm okay, but it's not going to win you anything. We want to see something better from you if you want to win the cool goodies. Talking of cool goodies,